Our next guest on Live at 5 today is the star of a new movie based on the best-selling novel Red Dragon. The film is called Manhunter. William Petersen plays a former FBI agent who is lured out of retirement and given 3 weeks to find a psychotic killer. William Petersen rose to national prominence for his portrayal of Jack Henry Abbott in the controversial play In the Belly of the Beast. More recently, he played a hard-edged federal agent in the movie To Live and Die in Los Angeles, or in L.A. Before we talk to William Petersen, here's a clip from Manhunt.
Graham, hey, Will Graham. What do you hear? What do you say? You remember me? Freddie Lowndes covered the electric case for the Tatler, did the paperback. So come on, Will, when did they call you in? What do you got? Hey, look, I'm buying lunch, all right?
Lowndes, why don't you give it a rest?
Hey, he's news. I'm doing my job.
So, how does this guy compare with Lecter, huh? What does he do to him? How's he doing? How's he doing, Will? Keep away from me. Will. Will!
Some bitch snuck into the hospital. I was sedated after Lecter. He pulled back the sheets and he took pictures.
Yeah, I know.
Look, don't expect too much from me, all right?
We only got 3 weeks left, and you're our best shot.
What do you think? I'm going to see him standing in the street and say, there he is? That's Houdini you're thinking about.
Welcome to Live at 5, William. The killer in this movie is, at the very least, a demented, gruesome lunatic. Is that all we need to know about him?
Well, yeah, you learn a lot about him during the course of the film.
He's a very, very involved character, as are you.
He's a very sick man.
There are reasons that this case, that the character that you play in this movie should not really involve himself with this case. Can you fill us in on your character study a little?
Yeah, Will Graham, the character I play in Manhunter, is at the beginning of the movie, he's a former FBI forensics expert who has been out of work for 3 years because of he retired because of the strain that it took to do his job. He approaches the capture of these serial killers through the behavioral science by turning himself inside out to try and know what these killers think that they're doing. Because of the fact that they're such motiveless crimes, regular police procedure doesn't work in finding them. So the violent crimes unit of the FBI tries to get into the heads of these killers, and by doing so, Will Graham has hurt himself a lot in the past, and he takes this job because, well, basically because he's a very moral man, and he comes back to it and puts his life and his family's life in jeopardy.
Does that sound realistic to you, that a man who has, in getting into the head of a killer in a previous case, almost loses his mind, or in fact does spend a lot of time in psychiatric care or in a psychiatric ward, to come out again and do the same sort of thing, knowing that he can risk getting caught up in this again? He
deals with the, his boss knows how to get him to help. He shows him the families when they were alive. And because...
The guy kills families, and he also like, tortures family pets. Really an awful guy.
And Will Graham just can't abide. He has a wife and a child, and it's just that connection that forces him back to the job and to try and track this guy in the three weeks before he's going to kill again.
Can you tell me about preparation for this role? Because I'm curious to know whether there are forensic officers who work in the way that Will Graham does.
Yeah, absolutely there are. I was very fortunate to work with the Chicago Police Department Violent Crimes Unit and actually the FBI Violent Crimes Unit because the FBI believes in the film. And I was able to meet these guys and talk with them and look at their actual some of the actual crime files, and it was quite startling. The
reviews are pretty darn good for this movie, but there is one critique that runs pretty consistent throughout all the reviews, and that is that the movie emphasizes music too much, that it's a highly visual chic, they call it. Being a serious actor yourself, can you react to this?
Absolutely. Michael Mann, when he got this story and started to develop it, and before we started actually making the film, he told me that what he wanted to do with this film, in order to make it something that audiences would come and see, because he feels that the story is important to tell, he wanted to create a real visual aura for the film, so that audiences, instead of the movie coming down into the audience and scaring people would actually go up onto the screen. People would be drawn into the actual beauty of the film, and the story would work underneath in a more emotional, interior way. And I think he's matched that with the visuals and the music to create this extremely suspenseful thriller.
The name of the thriller is Manhunter. The reviews are sensational. It opened today, and I wish you continued success, William. Thank you for coming by and seeing us. Okay.
Thank you.
Jack?
All right, Sue. Pat Harper's in the